nothing will change our loyalty to TB Joshua, worshippers. Nothing will change our loyalty to TB Joshua, worshippers. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. John Swiner TV. Please subscribe. Despite the revelations made by former followers of the late cleric from various countries including South Africa, the United Kingdom, the United States of America, and Nigeria, supporters of the prophet appear unfazed by the accusations. Continuation of regular activities, in contrast to the reactions sparked on social media by the allegations in the BBC documentary, the Ikotun Egbe area of Lagos State, where the church is situated, showed no signs of disruption when Saturday Punch visited on Wednesday. Business activities continued as usual, with people going about their daily routines, seemingly unaware of the controversies surrounding the man, even 3 years after his death. Shops opposite the church selling various items like clothes and drinks operated normally, oblivious to the controversies. A nearby restaurant played music loudly, and men patronized it for a bottle of beer to combat the heat following a brief rain. Furthermore, a betting shop was bustling with young men. The atmosphere in the area remained unchanged, and for the residents, life continued as usual. TB Joshua Street leading to the church prominently displayed the large photos of the late prophet and his wife, while church services were reserved for Sundays. Adherents of the late prophet's teachings were permitted to pray on the church street, even though the church itself remained closed. Our correspondent observed worshippers praying in front of large banners featuring the deceased prophet and his wife. Some prayed loudly on the street without footwear, while others touched the faces of the late cleric and his wife displayed on the banner before starting their prayers. Only church workers were observed entering and leaving the church. Investigations by Saturday Punch revealed two categories of workers in the church: disciples who directly served the late prophet and resided in the church, and other workers responsible for various tasks such as sanitation, medicals, and food. A former worker who preferred to remain anonymous disclosed that a weekly workers' service took place every Tuesday. In 2021, the church, in a publication on its website, reported receiving over 50,000 visitors weekly during the once-a-week Sunday church service on its extensive premises. This information was supported by data from the Nigeria Immigration Service, indicating that 6 out of every 10 foreign travelers coming to Nigeria were heading to SCON. Additionally, during the Nigeria Travel Week in 2018, tourism expert Benga Onitilo revealed that SCON in Ikotun receives the highest number of tourists in Nigeria, making it a city on its own. Someone commented and said, the Bible emphasizes the notion that individuals conquer through the power of their testimony and the sacrificial blood of the Lamb. I urge all those who have been touched by late Prophet TB Joshua ministry experienced miracles and found deliverance, not to remain silent. You enjoyed his ministry and the grace of God upon his life. Instead, come forth, share your testimony, and proclaim to the world, including these agents of the enemy, that he is unquestionably a true servant and man of God. Another one commented and said, the gate and messengers of hell cannot prevail over the church. Another one commented and said, brainwashed idiots. The truth in the BBC documentary on TB Joshua. A Nigerian man, Gidgidi, has shared his take on the BBC documentary on late TB Joshua. Temitope Balogum Joshua was a Nigerian charismatic pastor and televangelist. He was the leader and founder of Synagogue Church of All Nations, a Christian megachurch that runs the Emmanuel TV television station from Lagos in Nigeria. Below is the full analysis he made on Wednesday, January 10, 2024. I took my time yesterday to watch all 3 episodes of the BBC documentary on late TB Joshua. A number on women of different races and nationalities, British, South African, Zimbabwean, American, Filipinos, and Nigerian, all came together to talk about TB Joshua. The one thing all these women had in common is that they once all moved from their respective countries to live in TB Joshua's region's community, Synagogue of All Nations, SCON, and became part of his inner cycle. All the women gave horrific and graphic accounts of rape, underage sex, sexual abuse, physical and verbal abuse carried out on them by TB Joshua. The South African woman claimed she had 3 abortions due to multiple rape by TB Joshua. The British woman told how TB Joshua would send for them only to sexually molest them. The Zimbabwean gave a story of how TB Joshua raped her as a vision and underaged. Even TB Joshua's own daughter came forward to tell how she confronted her father for multiple sexual molestation of women, only for him to have her locked up for months and beaten daily. I was also shocked at the story of how the SCON building collapsed. The lie that was told that an aircraft brought it down, and the cover-up that followed, as well as the fake miracles. Even though TB Joshua is no longer here to defend himself, I believe these women, there is no smoke without fire. A group of women who live in different countries of the world cannot give similar accounts of sexual abuse by one man without it having an element of truth. I believe that TB Joshua was a rapist, sexual predator, and a sociopath. I believe TB Joshua used religion to cover up the evil within himself. He operated as a man of God in the light, but was a devil in the dark. I also believe that there are many well-known men of God who are currently doing what TB Joshua did. Someone commented and said, I don't attend his church, neither am I of his faith, but am totally against it that some people and the media keeps tarnishing the image of a deceased person. Kindly let him rest in peace. Is it because he can't defend himself now that all this is happening? I urge the family of TB Joshua to come to his rescue at this moment and sue these people rubbing his image in mud. Another one commented and said, "Good, he died and is in hell." Attacks on TB Joshua are from the devil. Delivered, Augusta da Costa delivers her testimony at TB Joshua's Synagogue Church of All Nations in Nigeria about a deliverance from alcohol. Shakop Mood resident Augusto da Costa, who met televangelist TB Joshua 3 times in Nigeria and says he delivered her from alcoholism, believes the recent attacks on his legacy are orchestrated by the devil. This comes as Joshua, who died in 2021 at the age of 57, is accused of widespread abuse and torture, spanning almost 20 years. Among his accusers is Namibian media journalist Jessica Kaimu, who says the televangelist raped and tortured her for 5 years. Kaimu is among a group of more than 25 women who claim to have been abused by Joshua, as reported by the BBC this week following a 2-year investigation. However, Da Costa yesterday defended Joshua, pointing out his modest attire and lifestyle. She said he did not flaunt material possessions unlike other religious leaders. Da Costa said Joshua's teachings focus on love and unity, transcending religious boundaries. He is the one who put changes in the world for us to love one another. You will never find a human being like him, she said. Da Costa dismissed the investigations into Joshua's Synagogue Church of All Nations scorn as attempts to tarnish his reputation, comparing the situation to the criticism Jesus Christ faced. She urged people to keep an open mind. She expressed her belief in Joshua's mission to promote love among all people, regardless of their faith. TB Joshua brought love even to the Muslim community, even when they came to him. He did not say, "Get out," he embraced them, she said. Da Costa said Joshua helped her to stop abusing alcohol, which was destroying her life. "Because of my deliverance, many others are coming to salvation. It is a testimony and witness of God's work through TB Joshua," she said. "It is all for God's glory." Kaimu told the BBC that Joshua initially touched her breast, after which she confided in one of her fellow disciples, which led to her assault. A sister reported me and said, "Jessica told me you touched her hair inappropriately." He stood up from his chair. "Do I do that to you? Can I do that, a man of God?" And she said, "No, sir, she's lying. She's just lustful. He hit me, he slapped me, he punched me, and he kicked me in the stomach," Kaimu said. Joshua allegedly then raped her. "He was telling me, 'I am your father, I'm delivering you.' We went into his room and I stood there and he said, 'Take off your clothes.' So I removed my clothes and then he just pointed and I lay down. He raped me, he broke my virginity. I was screaming and he was whispering in my ear that I should stop acting like a baby. 'You better shut up, you want to make noise, you want people to hear.' I felt like there was a beast. I was 17 years old. I was underage," she told the BBC. Kaimu claimed this was ongoing during the 5 years she spent as a disciple. Meanwhile, MultiChoice Namibia's managing director, Roger Geddes, yesterday confirmed that the SCON's Emmanuel TV will no longer be broadcast on TV or broadcast on DSTV. As part of this ongoing process, Emmanuel TV will no longer be available on DSTV and the Go TV packages effective 17 January 2024 at 23:59, he said. Prophet who predicted the death of TB Joshua slams the BBC for their documentary about TB Joshua. Well-known Zimbabwean prophet Melontic Orasi, also recognized as Obey Mukanairi, has broken his silence on the recent BBC documentary that sent shockwaves through religious cycles. The three-part expose titled Disciples, the Cult of TB Joshua, delved into alleged dark underbelly of the Synagogue Church of All Nations, SCON, founded by the late TB Joshua. In a recent statement, Prophet Melontic Orasi expressed his deep concern and disbelief regarding the revelations presented in the documentary. The Zimbabwean spiritual leader, known for his own large following, stated, "It is disheartening to witness such accusations against a prominent figure in the religious community. We must seek the truth and justice for the victims." The documentary, featuring testimonies from over 25 former members of SCON, outlined the disturbing allegations ranging from rape and forced abortions to physical violence. Additionally, it exposed the claims of orchestrated fake miracle healing attributed to TB Joshua. The revelations have ignited a global conversation about the accountability of religious leaders and the potential abuse of power within their congregations. Prophet Melontic Orasi emphasized the importance of thorough investigations to uncover the truth and ensure justice is served. This is a wake-up call for all spiritual leaders to reflect on their teachings and practices, ensuring they align with the principles of love, compassion, and justice, he asserted. The scandal has led to increased scrutiny of religious institutions worldwide, which calls for transparency and accountability, resonating among various faith communities. Many are now questioning the mechanisms in place to address misconduct within religious organizations and demanding reforms to prevent such abuses in the future. As the fallout from the documentary continues to unfold, Prophet Melontic Orasi urges followers to remain vigilant and uphold the values of integrity and empathy within their spiritual communities. The controversy surrounding TB Joshua's legacy raises broader questions about the balance between faith, authority, and accountability within religious organizations, prompting a re-evaluation of the responsibilities of spiritual leaders in guiding their flock. Someone commented and said, "No one that goes by the name Prophet would ever believe the BBC revelations." Another one commented and said, "They are all liars, deceivers, and pretenders in any ways." Another one commented and said, "They never want their truth to be revealed on how evil and how full of crap they actually are. What is new?" Another one commented and said, "No single normal human can believe the BBC documentary about TB Joshua. If BBC is genuine, let them start telling us now about the living prophets. Many of us will not accept anything after they die. This amounts to a scandal, malice, and sinister in nature. Another one commented and said, God will deal with the false prophets wherever they are. TB Joshua healed my daughter of asthma, actress Ronke Ojo. According to reports by Daily Post, Nollywood actress Ronke Ojo has reacted to the allegations leveled against the late founder of All Nations Synagogue, Temitope Balogum Joshua. Remember, the BBC claimed in a new documentary that he raped his members, performed fake miracles, tortured and forced some women to have abortions. But Ojo responded in a video on her Instagram page that the late pastor cured her daughter of asthma when they visited his church. Speaking about her encounter with TB Joshua, the actress insisted that TB Joshua was a good person. According to Ronke Ojo, at first I didn't believe in prophecies. I'm not that kind of person because there are a lot of liars out there. But the day I went to church, my daughter had asthma, and to God be the glory, He saved her. She said some things that I didn't believe. My younger sister also experienced these similar things. That is when I started going to TB Joshua's church. Other than that, he was a good man to me and my family. I just want people to know that to me, he was a good man and a man of God. Allegations surface TB Joshua. Allegations surface against TB Joshua in disturbing expose. A former disciple of Temitope Balogum Joshua, widely known as TB Joshua, has come forward with disturbing allegations of sexual misconduct. The ex-disciple claims that before conducting religious services, TB Joshua engaged in sexual activities within one or two girls, often proceeding without even taking a shower. The whistleblower details the alleged incidents, stating, I observed that TB Joshua needed to engage with one or two girls sexually before conducting a service. He would seamlessly proceed to the service without even taking a shower. Upon returning, he would promptly call them, and some would happily answer saying, Papa is calling me. Over time, I noticed his efforts to bring several girls together, emphasizing that they were like sisters. The ex-disciple emphasized that these girls, initially considered like sisters, were reportedly receptive to TB Joshua's calls after the services. The shocking accusations raise concerns about the spiritual leader's conduct and ethical standards within his religious community. TB Joshua, who gained international fame as the founder of the Synagogue Church of All Nations, SCON, has been a prominent figure in the Christian community, known for his charismatic sermons and reported miracles. These allegations, however, cast a shadow on his reputation, prompting questions about the authenticity of his spiritual leadership. The released video, which has sparked controversy, sheds light on a side of TB Joshua that was previously unknown to the public. The ex-disciple's account raises ethical and moral questions, particularly regarding the reported exploitation of trust and manipulation of the perceived sisterly bond among the girls involved. As the news circulates, many are awaiting a response from TB Joshua and the Synagogue Church of All Nations. The severity of these allegations could have significant ramifications not only on TB Joshua's reputation, but also on the trust and faith of his followers worldwide. This expose comes at a time when there is an increasing global scrutiny of leaders within religious institutions, with a growing demand for accountability and transparency. The outcome of this revelation remains uncertain, but it undoubtedly adds another layer to the ongoing discourse surrounding the conduct of influential figures within religious cycles. Prophet Java responds to TB Joshua's documentary. Prophet Passion Java has responded to the BBC News documentary concerning the late TB Joshua. In a 3-minute-long video, Java said BBC is working with the satanic cult to destroy the strong legacy that was left by TB Joshua and other men of God. He said the documentary is aimed to mislead Christians and turn them against their creator. Java questioned why BBC News had to release TB Joshua's documentary more than 2 years after his death. Ajoke, not TB Joshua's biological daughter, scorn trustee. Joseph David, a disciple of the late televangelist prophet TB Joshua and a trustee of the Synagogue Church of All Nations, SCON, refuted claims regarding Ajoke's biological relationship with the deceased preacher. Ajoke was one of the individuals who testified in a BBC broadcast on TB Joshua's activities as reported by PM News. According to David, Ajoke was not Prophet TB Joshua's biological daughter, but rather an adopted one. He recounted that the late preacher found Ajoke as a few days old baby abandoned near the church premises. Instead of taking her to an orphanage, TB Joshua chose to raise her as his own. David, who claimed to have been with TB Joshua for 27 years until his passing, asserted that the adopted daughter Ajoke had grown up within the SCON community, garnering admiration. However, he noted that she became rebellious over time, leading to her departure from the ministry. He stated Ajoke was a few days old when her mother abandoned her by a truck close to the church premises. The prophet picked her up after being abandoned and reported the case to the police for the records, but rather than take her to the orphanage, the prophet chose to father her. Ajoke later grew up to the admiration of everybody in SCON, but suddenly she became rebellious and everybody was fed up with her until she left. All her records are in the SCON archives. Dismissing allegations made in the BBC documentary, David emphasized the need to set the record straight on certain issues he considered fabrications. He clarified that TB Joshua had only 3 biological children and not a 4th with Ajoke. Someone commented and said, "Who do we want to believe, BBC or SCON? Never believe anything until it has been officially denied." Another one commented and said, "Never believe anything until it has been officially denied." Another one commented and said, DNA test should be the real evidence. Another one commented and said, some people like being blind followers. Been there twice. Last time I was there, we were prayed for on sea sand within the compound by the man himself. Water was introduced, bracelets too. I questioned that within me. Had the snake dreams on both occasions after the visits. Then I started a personal journey on myself with Christ by reading the Word of God. That day, once eyes are opened, I personally believe the documentary, not all was innocent or holy in that synagogue. Another one commented and said, is through a blood daughter opened. Another one commented and said, it is sad to note that the same people speaking evil of TB Joshua have benefited from him in the past before they turned rebel like Lucifer, their mentor. Another one commented and said, does that justify the fact that she was violated by your man of God? Another one commented and said, the defense is very clear and need no further explanation. Has any woman ever come up to say TB Joshua impregnated her when he was alive? Even now, believe it or not, this BBC thing is a ploy by the devil to incur the wrath of God on some people across the globe, knowing fully well that any rubbish they say, people will believe it because of mindset. Another one commented and said, this is one stupid defense that would make me hate scorn the more. What Ganga Chuen evil? That place should be shut and everyone locked up for good. Rascals, she's not a daughter because you leeches are fed on the crookedness of the father while planning to kill her. Another one commented and said, so master, you did the candle light for every TB Joshua's bed here, like the mother of the daughter who your pastor used and abandoned there. The girl was not left there, she was brought to her father's attention. The truth about megachurch leader TB Joshua. The BBC's extensive 2-year investigation into the late TB Joshua, the founder of the Synagogue Church of All Nations, has brought to light compelling evidence of widespread abuse and torture within the secretive Lagos compound. The revelations, spanning almost 2 decades, paint a disturbing picture of alleged atrocities, including rape, forced abortions, and physical violence, as reported by dozens of former church members, including 5 from the UK. TB Joshua, a charismatic and globally influential preacher who passed away in 2021, had amassed an immense following through his televangelism. The Synagogue Church of All Nations, in response to the allegations, has not issued a formal response, but has previously dismissed similar claims as baseless. The investigative findings include numerous eyewitness accounts detailing instances of child abuse, individuals being subjected to whipping and chaining, and women reporting sexual assault, with some alleging repeated rape over extended periods within the compound. Shockingly, There are multiple allegations of forced abortions following the reported sexual assaults, including one woman who claims to have undergone 5 terminations. Furthermore, the investigation sheds light on the alleged manipulation of the church's renowned miracle healings. Multiple first-hand accounts suggest that TB Joshua staged these supposed miracles, deceiving millions of viewers worldwide. These revelations underscore the dark sides of a religious institution that was, for years, widely celebrated for its charismatic leaders' purported healing powers. The testimonies of those who have come forward provide a harrowing glimpse into the hidden abuses that occurred within the synagogue church of all nations under the leadership of TB Joshua. Someone commented and said, "We don't care. You can say all the bad things about the scorn. Even if you can say scorn is not worshipping the Almighty God, we cannot stop believing in the God of Prophet TB Joshua, and nothing or nobody will stop the move of God at scorn. We are standing still. We cannot be shaken by all these lies. You can continue with that assignment from the pit of hell. We will stand and support our mommy, Pastor Evelyn. Nothing will stop us believing the God of Prophet TB Joshua." Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Jones. Why Not TV? Please subscribe. Bye for now till we meet again next time. Ladies and gentlemen, remember that this news is not coming from Dr. Jones or Why Not TV. It only comes from different sources